at Shingur by the previous left government and paving the way for the return of land to farmers who had given land unwillingly for the to be built nano factory. The opposition walked out of the assembly and punched the new bill full of legal holes. Tata Motors has issued a strong statement saying they didn't abandon the land, they were forced to leave because of the hostile conditions.
Celebrations in Shingur. The passage of the Shingur Land Bill signalling victory for farmers who had given up their land for the Tata Nano factory but unwillingly. In Kolkata, Mamata Banerjee made an unscheduled speech in assembly and called it the people's victory.
Didi, you must be very happy. It's a big day today.
Every farmers are happy. Every common people are happy.
Do you feel you've achieved your dream today and the farmers?
It is the people, not me.
Effectively, the government has acquired all of the 997.11 acres of land that the previous left government had leased to Tata Motors. Out of that, around 400 acres belong to farmers who gave their land unwillingly and refused to accept compensation for it. The only blot in the Shingur bill celebrations, after supporting the bill in principle, the opposition staged a walkout of the assembly protesting technical snags.
That the bill in the present form comes in conflict with many of the acts made by the parliament. If it is challenged by anybody in the court of law also, this can be declared ultra vires.
Another blot, a strong statement by Tata Motors saying they did not abandon the Shingur project as the bill claims but were forced to leave because of violence. The statement also says Tata Motors had invested rupees 1800 crore in the project before being forced to leave. Today, their investment on the ground is worth 440 crore rupees. Sources say the Tatas are happy to give up the Shingur land if adequately compensated. The new bill says a district judge will fix the quantum of compensation. Notwithstanding the legal loopholes highlighted by the opposition in the bill, notwithstanding the clouded issues over compensation to the Tatas, fact is Mamata Banerjee has today delivered on her primary poll promise, the return of land to the unwilling farmers of Shingur. In Kolkata with GD Shankar, Monideepa Banerjee, NDTV.
So Didi calls it the people's victory. The land is now back with the farmers who didn't want to give it up. But what is the larger impact on industrial investment? Tata's strong statement saying we were forced to give it up. What about our compensation? Will it be adequate? Joining me for more on that tonight is Mr. Saugata Roy, the Minister of State of Urban Development and of the Trinamool Congress. I'm also joined from Mumbai by Medha Patkar, well-known social activist. Land acquisition has been a particular bugbear, and of course she has been arrested on the way to Shingur many times under the previous government. I'm also, Parimal Nathwani stays with me. He's the man who, the group president of corporate affairs, but also the man who helped realize Dhirubhai Ambani's dream in setting up the Jamnagar plant, and MK Venu, editor of the Financial Express. Saugata Roy, we've seen Tata's statement, we've seen Mamata Banerjee call it the people's victory, but is it? What is the larger impact on industrial investment in Mamata Banerjee's West Bengal? What will the impact be?
This is nothing to do with the impact on industrial investment. It is just redeeming a pledge that she had made before the elections, in which she had a massive victory. She had said that no land should be taken away forcibly from the farmers. The farmers are free to sell their land if they want to. So if the government has acquired land forcibly in Shingur, we shall return the land to the farmers. And she has brought about a bill which was passed in the West Bengal Assembly today, which has taken back all the land that was acquired for the purpose, and the bill clearly mentions that the equivalent amount will be returned to the farmers. But so this has nothing to do with any other industrial project anywhere else.
No, but one interesting point that has come up is that what happens to the farmers who gave the land to the Tatas, who wanted an industry to come up there, they now will not get compensation for this land. They will, because they already took the benefits. These farmers can resell their land at a higher market value. What about the farmers who had actually given the land to the Tatas willingly?
Farmers who had given the land to the Tatas willingly and took the checks from the state government, they fulfilled their obligations. They've taken the money and they are satisfied with it. Well, it is only the unwilling farmers who have been agitating, that we have been gritting our teeth And for 5 years, we neither could cultivate the land nor got anything from the government.
Right.
So we should be rewarded for the suffering we
Well,
had.
let's see more farmers now come forward asking for compensation. But Parival Nathwani, let me ask you, you're facing a similar situation in Maharashtra where the Raigad SEZ is under dispute. Again, a referendum was held there. The people voted against the SEZ, even though the state government had allowed you to set up there. Can an industrial house function in political circumstances like this? What is your feeling on this?
No, this is absolutely unfortunate. The Maharashtra episode has been motivated by a few local politicians, instigating the local population and local farmers. Basically, that company we have taken over from one another corporate company, and originally we did not started doing any acquisition. Later on, when we taken over, so we started acquiring the land. But
why is industry always seen as the bad guys? We've seen Saugata Roy say forcibly. When you say forcibly, you talk about other cases also. Why is industry seen as the bad guys in land acquisition?
No. See, let me clarify. We have the best example in Gujarat. We have done first refinery of 10,000 acre land. Second one is SEZ refinery, another 10,000 acre land. Total together 20,000 acre land. It is all mostly mutually concerned with the farmer, and one-to-one concern with the farmer.
Yes.
So there are some exceptions. Few people may try to use some tactics for getting a more price, but otherwise it's all consent award.
Medha Patkar, do you agree it's all done with consent of the farmers? Industry is not the bad guy here. Why are they always being painted out as that?
Who can accept this, Sonia? Because the corporates are known for using not just force but even the fraud to grab, not just acquire the land. And it's very obvious that they are using the British Legacy Act of 1894. And even when the British did not say that the land can be forcibly acquired by the state for the corporates, it was the independent state of India, unfortunately, that started since 1984. And as it is happening, whether in the case of Raigad, where the special economic zones with all concessions unjustifiable granted to the companies were to go against the people and compel them to give up the land, but people did not. So it was
Fraud,
a victory.
land grabbing.
And
This
we
comes at a time when
welcome.
Reliance Industries in another
Yes.
CAG report, fraud and land grabbing.
Because
No, not at all. We
there
are
is
the
no
best
hearing
land
given to
acquisition
the
done.
people. There is
Our
no
farmers are
hearing.
very friendly, and without that this is not possible. You can see the Gujarat Land Acquisition Act under section 469. The same supported by the central government
not
also.
Gujarat
It is not
Act.
only a state government, and this kind of big acquisition will never take place forcefully. Let me clarify, Meghaji, that this all acquisition has been done in Gujarat is clearly with the notification, with the public hearing, and with the compensation given even X ratio payments to the farmers, and willingly.
Saugata Roy, why does this work? Why does the Reliance model work, the Tata model, the nano plant, now they work in Gujarat and not in West Bengal?
No, firstly you must understand that much of the land in Gujarat is arid, whereas land in West Bengal, particularly Shingur, was 4-crop land. It's all green. Mr. Venu was telling me just a little while back that he went around Gujarat and around West Bengal and he found it all green. In Gujarat you travel, you find much of the land is arid, uncultivated.
It's just about the land, it's not about a political climate, it's
No,
not about
it's
a political thinking.
nothing to do with political climate.